Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope you're all doing very, very well, especially in these difficult times. So welcome back to the GUS podcast. I am your host, Rania Al-Jahdami, and I have with me my lovely co-hosts, Maher Al-Shokri, Abdul Aziz Al-Sinawi, Sulaiman Al-Mahrouqi, and today we have a very special guest. Everyone, please welcome Lujainah Al-Subhi.
Hi, Lujainah.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, Lujainah.
Welcome.
How are you? So can you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so I am a senior at Washington State University studying neuroscience. My name is Lujainah Al-Subhi, as you already mentioned. What else can I tell you about myself? SubhanAllah, when somebody says, tell me about yourself, you forget everything about yourself.
I know.
Let's see, I could tell you the things that I like to do in my free time, which is just spend time outside in nature, like hiking, snorkeling, anything to do with the ocean. Wallah, you think I'm a fish from how much I like to be by the ocean.
Can I ask you something? You said everything regarding the ocean. So do you like to drown?
Do I like to drown? I didn't try it yet. So.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Actually, you have one free trial. So let us know what's happening.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we have been gone for quite a while, but we are back now. So how have you all been doing? How has your summer been?
I mean, I
Surviving
could just,
the constant way of it.
surviving, internship, playing video games, reading books, listen to music, exploring. What else? Yeah, innovation.
Nice.
Yeah.
For me personally, I've been trying to learn more about Islam. I don't know what happened to my TikTok For You page, but all of a sudden, like, I've just had non-stop Islamic pages and TikToks coming on my For You page. And I've actually loved that. So I've just been learning more and more, like more and more and more. And I love that. What about you guys?
For my case, actually, we have something in common, Rania, because I think I talked to Abdulaziz last week when I met him, and I told him the same thing that I've been trying to also get to learn deeper about Islam. And for the second case, I think I'm on an existential crisis. Personally, I'm thinking about doomsday. I'm thinking about sustainability and all of that stuff. I'm just trying to research that, but for fun. I don't know. Yeah, but
doomsday.
Yeah, overall, that is my holiday so far.
Okay.
Nothing special.
Honestly, I'm not sure what I'm doing with my life, to be honest. I'm just looking for a purpose and looking for... I'm actually been reading more about Japanese philosophy, more about Musashi Miyoto, which is a very known Japanese philosopher and a very known swordsman too. They go by like the way of the sword and all, but they have this very beautiful philosophy to life and all. So I've been looking for purpose there, and it's okay, cool actually.
What's his name again?
Musashi Miyamoto or something like that. But like during the convo today, I have some quotes from him, and I would like to hear some of Lujainah's thoughts on them from a spiritual soul kind of perspective.
Okay, and on that note, our topic for today is where do we go from here? Do you guys feel those air quotes? Okay, so let's start from the very beginning. Where do you guys think we came before, like, life? Like, do you guys have any theory on that?
Just first of all, just a disclaimer. I realize some of the normies out there may not understand the topic that we're trying to bring, but there's a specific quote that I'd like to start this with, which is, sorry, what was it? You remember? It's like, it is a mark of an enlightened mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. So all of these, they are just thoughts, and that we are just like ideas that you might have during the day, but doesn't necessarily mean that we are taking.
We fully embrace those ideas.
We fully embrace and believe that.
Exactly.
I'm glad we put this as a disclaimer, so we don't contradict any religious beliefs or anything. Okay.
Everything we speak here is relative. and that.
Yeah, like they're just science and theories and ideas.
Philosophy.
Let's start with the fun stuff. Like, first of all, death. Like, god damn. Like from a philosophy, I don't know if it's philosophy or realistic. Like the way I think of it is, it's just a switch, so nothing really matters after it. But then there comes the moral part of it, which is like you have your loved ones and you have the people that you care for that stay behind to mourn you after death. Like, but how do you balance it all? Because it's I don't know. Does it make sense to say it's selfish to live a life that in the end you live to die, but you don't really think of anything after that? Realistically or logically, actually, thinking of what to do after death doesn't seem like sane to me, at least. But then you have to think of your loved ones. For example, if we're looking from a logical point of view, for example, let's say I'm working a good job, I'm having a decent salary, but then I get a terminal disease, cancer, and I'm just like spending my money like there's no tomorrow. But by the time I die, I'm just like, you know what? I spent all my money. I have nothing left for my family. But then morally, that's messed up.
I have an interjection.
Okay.
Sure.
Is money the only thing of value that you leave for your family? What if مثلا you spend some time with a family member and you teach them something good, or you help them see a good perspective about themselves? You still left them with something good to carry throughout their lives. So you didn't really go and exit this world with nothing. You still did something good.
Like you impacted their life.
Yeah, in that hypothetical scenario.
That's why we try to leave a good legacy, so that it can be carried on by our, let's say, successors. Like,
okay, but
so just one question: like, what defines that good legacy that everyone must be talking about?
Another question.
Probably you can define it.
I have a question before I forget.
Okay.
Then I have thoughts and then they disappear. See. No. We're talking about legacies that we leave. Why are we so preoccupied with leaving something behind? Why can't we just come to this life, just be, and then go? Like, why do we have to leave something to be remembered by?
Yeah, that's a lot
why
of
are we
pressure.
so afraid
to
be forgotten, yani?
Yes.
I mean, when we say leave a legacy, it's not like you are leaving something for the world. I mean, you have to leave you must leave something for, let's say, for your family to live on, so that they can remember you. Imagine if you lose a beloved one and you don't have any memories that will help you to remember him. Yes, you can have the memories on your mind, but something at least physical, like even a pen, would be enough. But if we are talking about legacy specifically, I mean, it's one of the purposes of this life. You come here to fulfill something. Yeah. Legacy is you can say it's a small portion for some, but for me, it's something big. I came here and I want to leave this world with a big legacy. It's nothing specific for the world, but for, let's say, my own surroundings, something like that.
But like about that, so is this legacy really for you, or is it for everyone other than you?
I mean, legacy,
because the moment you say that I'm here and I'm going to be doing something so that I can be remembered, then in that case, it's not for you anymore. Then that becomes for the rest of the world.
That's
for the case that you say, I have a meaning. So let's say if you want to bring that legacy to yourself and have it within you, is to find a purpose or meaning, or what, let's say, something that can keep you alive every day, that I'm having this purpose in the world, I'm trying to do this and this, not for the sake of being remembered or not for the sake of leaving a memory or something. Yeah. I guess that is a...
I mean, for me personally, I know, like, this is a thing that I recently learned. I think we've been taught this before, but we forgot, especially now, that in Islam, like, it's amana from Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we have to learn. Not only that we learn, we pass it on to others. And that's something I really, really like, that I learn and I feel like it just feel like it fills my heart. Like it fills my heart up. And when like I already know it now, so I continue to learn, and I also pass it on to others. Like I teach others, and that I feel it's something very heartfelt. And that's what I would like to leave in this world, you know?
Yeah. And even go, Sheikh, go.
Lujainah, you were going to say something?
I was going to say, when Maher mentioned purpose, I was going to ask, why do we have to give ourselves or each other a type of purpose? You know, like, not that, yeah, with these thoughts and ideas, I don't agree or disagree with anything. I'm just asking why. Why do we believe this way? Why do we believe that way? Yeah, so why do we have the belief that we need to leave or we need to live with a purpose and then leave something behind? Because for me, so far, at this point in my life, I don't think I need to do either. I think I just need to experience my life fully, the good and the bad.
That's a purpose.
Yeah.
You just expose yourself. That's a purpose.
Good point.
You see?
That's a good point. But I don't think of it as a. I don't think of it as a purpose.
You don't think of it as a purpose, but it's a purpose.
Yes.
Either way, you cannot change it.
Okay, I like that.
I mean, can I add something?
Yeah.
Okay.
But still, why do we have a purpose? So still,
I mean, we're all born with a purpose, and we all know what it is. But people are finding like more purposes in this world.
Hold up. I was waiting for this, Rania. How are we born with a purpose? Like, could you just explain one purpose of why someone would be born?
Okay, well, you're a Muslim. Okay, first of all, let's start there. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He made us to لعبادة Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like, I don't even know how to say it in English. You understand?
Yeah. To praise him.
Yeah, that's like our main purpose.
Yeah,
exactly. To worship him. That's why he made us.
Okay.
That's like the main purpose.
So according to Islam, that is our main purpose.
Yes.
Okay? Then, let's say you have that one as your main purpose. And that's where comes the next big thing. Like, okay, after worshiping Allah and you're doing it rightly and all of that, following His ways, what follows next? Like, then it comes to stuff like, how are you going to live the other side of life? So how are you going to get yourself to eat? Or how are you going to get yourself sheltered? And I think those are the...
Yeah, because like that was what I was going to come about. And because like, we all agree that for like what you just said, but then thinking of it as like just a regular human being, leaving religion aside. For example, how do you convince someone who's not a Muslim that, yo, you have a purpose, kada, kada, kada? Like when it comes to purpose, it's like, I believe it's something that gives you some kind of goal in mind. Of course, like we have, at least I have heaven as the final goal, but then that's looking far into the future. But like, what about right now? Like, what's my purpose, right? Because one thing is, we don't live for the future. Living for the future is delaying just, I don't know, can I say delayed gratification? I don't know if that's relevant. It's just, the future doesn't exist. This is a quote I read in some book I was reading, which I really like. The future is just a mind projection. It doesn't exist. So if our goal is in the future, does our goal really exist? And when you have a purpose, it gives you some kind of reason to work towards that goal itself. But for example, if you live your day without a purpose, like today I'm just going to wake up, I'm just going to eat, pray, I don't know, like look at the beach or something like that, but you don't have anything that you look forward to. You don't have something that you want to do with passion that you look forward to every day. That sounds like a meaningless life to me, at least.
That's why we were made to worship God and to evolve. to
Yes, exactly.
create
And to
the
learn.
world. I mean, the things that you and Sule mentioned, they are all going into this realm of evolving the world, creating the world, making the world our place. Although nowadays it's not like that, but that's the thing.
Exactly.
If you can't build the world,
I think this is something that I usually mentioned in the previous podcast. Okay, and if not in the previous podcast, then my regular useless conversations with Abdulaziz. Yeah, that the world is evolving, and everyone knows that. When you take the whole fact of industrial revolution into consideration, then you could see how everything is changing. At first, before the agricultural revolution, nobody was thinking about the future. Everyone thought about, I'll look forward to it today, and that's it. Tomorrow, I'll leave it for tomorrow. Then after the agricultural revolution, then people started saving food for the future times. People came to understand the world, that there will be times of drought, there will be times of disasters and calamities. Then overall, we went to the Industrial Revolution, and boom, the evolution of banking. Then at some point, banks came to earn our trust. Let's say, giving this as an example, although I'm straying out of the topic just a little bit. But then in the bank, nobody knows you and you know nobody. But in the end, you can get a loan from them. Why? Because they believe in the future, that, this person is going to pay us and we are going to profit very well, and we can work with people very well. So saying that the future doesn't exist, I think I don't necessarily totally agree with that.
Yeah, the future doesn't exist?
I mean,
what does that even mean?
We're talking logically, let's say. The future at this moment, you see, one other thing that I had, I thought of during one of my past existential crises was the present doesn't exist either. No, actually it exists, but we've never seen it. We've never seen it.
Don't say this to me.
It's not predetermined. That's what you're trying to say.
No, I think it's the TikTok you sent me, la?
I've sent too many ones.
No. I'll tell you guys the TikTok that he sent me. It's a TikTok where a girl is saying, and the present doesn't actually exist because it takes our brain a fraction of a second to perceive the senses that we're seeing. Is that the one? What?
I don't remember the TikTok, but that's the idea.
Okay. It says that our brain takes like a fraction of a second to process everything that we're seeing. So we're not really perceiving things in real time. We're perceiving it in the past. So we're never actually present.
That actually makes sense. Oh my God.
Yeah, for the case of light, let's say, from my eyes to the screen and back to my eyes again, that's an estimation of 3 nanoseconds estimated, okay? And then when it comes to sound is even slower. So the sound that you're hearing from me isn't actually straight from me, because it has taken some seconds to travel and, let's say, being converted through the microphone. And but then that doesn't rule out the question that, not the question actually, doesn't actually support the argument that the present doesn't exist.
No, the present exists, but we see the past technically. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense because
think of the future.
The beginning is the end, and the end is the beginning.
Ooh,
so what we were talking about the future, right? So the future is the mind. It doesn't exist. We're talking in real time. Like realistically, it doesn't exist. So it's a mind projection. Like if you think of the future, it's either about something good that you're expecting to happen or something bad that you're expecting to happen. But there is no guarantee that either one would happen. It's like up to you. It's what you think of it. So technically, realistically, it doesn't exist.
I mean, it makes sense.
But even if nothing exists and everything exists at the same time, we're still alive. We're still expected to do things.
I mean, I
What
feel
about
like you
that?
guys are saying things and same time contradicting your own words. Like you're saying
Tara,
nothing
that's-
exists, but everything
Welcome
exists,
to
but it does.
existentialism.
And I'm like,
yeah,
Yep,
that's an
that's
existential.
I mean,
That's
that's
the
the
world
purpose
of
of the
That's
purists.
podcast,
science.
right?
Yeah. I mean,
So,
just think of it like
Abdulaziz, back to you again. Saying that we don't know about the future, okay? And we don't know what might happen in the future. If I say, if I tell you that you can possibly you can possibly shape your future into a somewhat better possibility of success, do you agree with that one? Or
Yes, that I agree with that.
so
My
it's not
argument
that the
is the
future
final
is
result.
fully out of your control. You have a portion
Exactly.
under your control, and you have a portion.
Yeah. My point is
Okay.
the final result, the outcome of it. That is what I define as the future. But when it comes to possible futures, that I can agree.
I kind of
Can I
want to
go?
change. Oh no, go ahead.
Can I go a little bit techie here? So
Let's go.
think of your life or yourself as a PC or a computer or even a smartphone. Okay, think of it like that.
Okay.
When you press a button on your smartphone or let's say your computer, when you click it, what does it actually happen? What's the whole point of that click?
I
Anyone
don't
know?
know. It's a
To open up
magic
something.
screen.
Yeah, I mean, the click, where does it go? How does a computer
Okay.
function? Think of it as your own
No.
body. If you want to move, your legs will send a signal to your brains, right?
No, my
Exactly,
brain
electric
will
signals,
signal
يعني.
the leg to
Yeah.
move. Yeah.
So same with the computer. When I press a button, it will go directly to the motherboard, to the control unit. And from the control unit to send the signals to let's say, to the parts that are responsible to that click. So the same thing. These technologies, these electronic devices that we see, they mimic ourselves.
Okay.
You guys know what I'm trying to say?
Okay, so then when you think of it that way, is there something on a bigger scale, on Earth or outside of Earth, that we mimic? Do you ever wonder that? I wonder that.
100%. 100%.
Okay, but what do you think it is?
I think the galaxy.
Planets.
Okay, but does that mean that planets, يعني مثلا, they have a mode of communication between each other the same way our nerves have a mode of communication
For
between
me,
each other, same way as electronics have a mode of communication
for me,
between each
not
other?
100%.
I think so, actually.
But yeah, because they
would
all
like to
surround
think
the
yes.
sun.
Yeah, they all orbit the sun.
They all have like
Okay.
some sort of routine or some sort of or let's say mode of operation that they work. So let's say
Yep.
the Earth rotates for how many hours, while the other planets
We'll wait for that,
rotate for
and
more
then they will
hours.
rotate.
But
Yeah.
generally, they all follow.
Okay, but do you think that means that the entire universe is a living, breathing organism, just like us?
I
and
believe
it has
yes.
its own consciousness? I think so
I
too.
believe
Aziz
yes.
looks like he's gonna cry. Are you okay?
No, I think I just unlocked a new fear.
Oh no! Why are you afraid?
Oh, no.
Adi, these are all things that you can just think about.
I mean, if we think of that, so we're living on a living being that potentially can kill us at any given moment.
Okay,
That's
and
very
if it kills us, so what? Tara, we don't go anywhere. We just chill.
No, it's like
go back,
If it
we
kills
go
us,
back.
that's meant to
do
happen.
we go back?
Yep.
But maybe
Mhm,
maybe
exactly.
just like if we kill the phone, going off of Maher's example, if we kill the phone, we use parts. We use the parts to benefit us in other ways. Okay, so it's not like يعني, something bad happens to the phone itself. It just goes back into the system. It goes back into our system. And then just like how we die, we go back into the bigger system. And then if there's a bigger system, does that mean there's an even bigger system and it just goes infinitely? Or
We
does it
don't
stop?
know, but we have
where
to
the
believe that there is
contradiction is.
something. You go to the other life.
Yeah. In my belief,
the other
it's
life
just
is
like,
much more bigger and much more important than this life.
And inshallah, when we go to heaven, that's the infinite life.
Inshallah. Yes.
I hope to
Guys,
meet
I'm very
you guys.
Inshallah.
We'll
Yeah.
meet together, inshallah. No worries. I will invite you in my heaven.
So I want to ask you guys, what do you guys think about desire? Like, when it comes to desire, some people say some people actually don't think of it in the first, like, hey, like people follow their desires. It's actually natural. Or do you have any opinions on that?
I don't think
Yes.
about desires, and I don't
I
think
actually
I
do.
care about them too much.
Actually, you
mean-
say that, but you care about them.
No, but I don't think
Passively.
about. I don't care about them like actively, or like I worry about them. Like
Yeah,
it's
that's why I
part
said
of-
depends.
passively.
Yeah.
It kind of depends on what.
It's
I mean,
part of
we're all
life.
human. We're all human. We all have a lot of earthly desires, but it depends. Some we're supposed to like ignore them as much as possible and leave them to just like to try to get rid of them. And some like we need them, like food and all of this and education. These are also desires that we need to need to be fulfilled. And some are just, you know, shaitan in your head.
I mean, like the way I think of it, there's a difference between a need and a want, and I associate wants with desire. So,
Yes.
like, do you need something or do you want it? That's what defines, what distinguishes
Why?
desire, actually.
Aziz, can I ask you why you're thinking about desires and like what your opinion is, so we understand where you're coming from?
I was reading, I was actually watching about Musashi Miyoto. He has a book called The Dokudo, which is like 21 rules for life. I don't know if I mentioned it, but Musashi was a very known philosopher. And one of his rules was, let me check. It was be detached from your desire your whole life long. Because the way I think of it, for at least at the current moment, I could say one of my purposes is to become the best person I can be. And in that way, I am looking, I don't know, is it making to become the ultimate human being that I can? Something along these lines. But to become that, first of all, like capitalism, I don't know if it's going to be relevant, but the greed, most of the greed in this world is basically people following their desires. For example, you want something, you take it immediately. Like, hey, I want something, let me go get it. That sometimes it's totally fine, sometimes, but sometimes it's lack of control. If you can't control yourself from like when you starve yourself from what you want, be it money, entertainment, or whatever it is, it gives you strength over yourself, and which like helps gain mental strength. And I guess it's part of my view as the ultimate human being, not being swayed but what I want and being more in control. Go ahead.
When you say starving yourself from things, it makes you a stronger human being. Like it teaches you discipline
and self-control.
Yeah, and self-control. I think of it as a way of telling yourself that maybe you don't deserve those things that you want. Where conversely, on the other side, you can give yourself all the things that you love and feel the happiness that it gives you, and then want that happiness for another person, and so try to give it to them as well. Wouldn't that also make you kind of a good person, also help you learn self-love? Because if you give yourself too much, yani it can go into the greed. Like you said, most of the greed in this world is that because people see something that they desire and they take it. What if the greed is because people see something that they desire and they take it without a limit, without worrying about other people? So like there should be a middle ground, in my opinion.
Do you have some kind of example? I don't think I totally understand that. Is there some kind of example?
Okay, let me see.
I think one example is, let's say me, you, and Sule, we're in a desert, stranded alone there, and there's only one bottle of water, and you have it.
So would it be more beneficial? Would it be more beneficial for me to not drink whatsoever,
and give it to us,
and give it to you? Or would it be more beneficial for me to drink all of it and not give it to you? Or would it be beneficial to just all of us drink it together, split it together until we find a new source?
I'd say the latter choice makes more sense.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah, but sometimes, I mean, there are people who divide themselves into two parts. Some of them, they say that I prefer to receive rather than give. And the others prefer to give rather than they receive. And the others It depends on the, let's say, occasion. So for me personally, I prefer both, but I see myself as someone who gives more than he receives.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense. So am I in the right position? Nope. Am I in the wrong position? Nope. Because it depends on me and it depends on the others, but I'm not that guy who listens to the others. So
yeah, I agree.
Like,
I'm not going anywhere.
I think we should try to match people's energy, you know? Because if you do more than them, then you're going to get your heart broken. And if you do less, then they're going to see you as selfish. So we just try to match the energy that you're being given.
That's why you shouldn't listen to anyone.
Exactly.
You see, like in that point, I think it, like whether any outcome happens, I think it depends on where you put yourself. Like, do you really care about this person's opinion? Are they important enough to directly impact your life in a negative way if you give them the power to do that? Like in that term, maybe you might have to match your energy, but I believe in leading with people. Like, it doesn't, like, it's not like, what am I trying to say? How do you say it in English? Like, treat people how you're treated. I don't agree with that. I think it doesn't, it's like for example, hey, if a dog bites you, do you bite it back? Some shit like that.
That's a hadith actually, where Rasul says, treat people how you would want to be treated, how you would like to be treated. That's it. You understand?
Yeah. People talk a lot about that quote, about treating people how you would like to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, what about treating yourself better?
Okay, that's a point also.
Treating yourself better. I don't think I understand.
So I think the most important thing is to have a balance between the two. Okay, you want to treat people better, you want to be a good person, okay. But then don't forget about yourself.
Yeah, of course.
And that's the thing that all the givers forget.
I think that's a bad thing if you forget about yourself.
Yeah, and I do that a lot.
I think because I don't know, I feel like you're in a better, stronger position to help other people if you know how to help yourself. Like how are you gonna pour into people if you're an empty cup kind of thing? You know?
Yeah.
How are you supposed to give love to people if you don't have any love for yourself?
And how can you protect them if you cannot protect yourself?
You can still do those things, but do you feel like you deserve those things from yourself? Do you give
that's
to yourself? That's a different story. But Aziz, sorry, what were you talking about? You were talking about desires and discipline and depriving yourself. I don't understand that. You've mentioned that to me before, and I don't understand your point. Can you explain?
For example, a good example, let's say weight loss. You have a goal in mind. You want to lose weight. That's your final goal. So you go to a party. There's lots of good food and all. You want to eat. You see something that you want right in front of you, and it's extremely hard to deny it. Like, you can't just walk away. You need self-control, but you cannot develop self-control if you don't have the strength to deprive of yourself what you don't need at the current moment, or something along these lines.
I think I understand what you mean, and I think what my question is, what is your intention with that self-control towards yourself? Are you depriving yourself because you know that it's better for you to stay within schedule, to stay within not giving in to your desires? Or is it because you think you don't deserve the happiness that brings you? So it depends when you do that.
I think like initially it's like the first point is the actual goal, but I guess if you go on it to the extremes, you might fall to the second choice. But mostly it's like it's for a certain goal. For example, humans are not created to be. They're not perfect beings. You do right and you do wrong. Sometimes some of your desires might lead you to a point where you do something which is morally wrong. We're not going to start talking about what's wrong, what's right. That's not going to finish. But your desires may lead you to do something morally wrong. For example, you're in a shop, you see something good you like, and you steal it. It's morally wrong. But you see, nothing makes sense. But in the end, I do believe that, like,
it will make sense
good control,
if you connect it right.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think Abdulaziz at some point he tried to make his point clear regarding all those deprivations and related stuff, because he said his ultimate goal in this world, if I'm not mistaken, I couldn't quote that one perfectly, but then it's kind of between those lines. He said is to become the ultimate being, or isn't that right?
Precisely.
And in that case, in the Nietzschean philosophy, he used to call that type of person who has everything under their control, the Übermensch, if you could see it, the Superman. That is the translation in English. So if you have everything under your control and you are the one who decides, it's not someone else or something else to decide for you what is wrong and what is right. And this worldly life, you have it under control, I guess, and that's when you've reached the ultimate state of the Übermensch.
I guess it's a point of trying to be as better as good as you can be. Not
exactly.
Like, does the ultimate really exist? I'm not sure about that. But
yeah, so you just keep striving to get there, close and close and close.
Yeah.
I have a thought. So you say that you have to have like the ultimate control. Do you agree that we need to be in control of things to live right? Because I don't. I think wanting, like, the desire to be in control stems from a belief of lack. You wanting to be in control means that you're not actually in control.
And what does it mean when you say you want to be the ultimate human? Like,
and that point is being basically, I mean, yeah, it's like being the best version of myself that I can be, but not in comparison to any other being.
Oh, okay.
It's like,
yeah, that was my point.
And when do you think you can be the best version of yourself? You cannot measure it.
Of course. You see, the beauty
just keep on learning, and keep on growing.
What I believe is that if you think that you are the best version of yourself, like you reach, let's say, the peak, actually you are not in the peak. You're the best version of yourself at that moment. That goes to the computer science.
Yes.
We go to the Dijkstra algorithm. You choose sorry, I'm going a little bit techy, but you choose let's say, you choose the minimum spanning tree at that moment. For example, when you send a message to someone, the message, how does it transfer from your mobile phone to the other phone? It chooses the minimum spanning tree. The shortest path. What's the shortest path between Maher and Sule? You see? So that's, if I relate to that to the ultimate version of yourself, that's what I can say is that you are the best. You've reached the best version of yourself at that moment. But when will I reach the ultimate version of myself? When you die.
Yeah, that does make sense. That does make sense.
Don't encourage him.
I mean, the thing is,
I'm actually
like,
very interested about this topic, Maher. I'm going to speak about that.
We'll speak more.
Yeah. So, like, when it comes to this, because I have two ideas that I combine to come with the ultimate being idea, which is basically, I believe that man is strongest when he has a goal, and I also believe that, what am I talking about? Yeah, because like you're strongest when you have the most drive and motivation and discipline, when you have a clear goal in mind that you really want. So, the ultimate being is basically another idea, which is being how good can you be, how much, like, what's the best version of yourself that you can be. But then I don't believe that you can ever be the ultimate being. So then it was like an infinite goal that helps you strive.
I have a question for you. What are you going to do when and if you reach your goal of being the ultimate being? Like, khalas, that's it.
That's
What
the
do you
beauty
expect
of
to
it.
happen?
That's the beauty
Sustain
in it.
that
You never
level.
reach it. It doesn't exist
Okay, so why are you chasing it then?
because it's an endless goal of becoming the best version of myself, and there is no point. Because like if you reach the end, I believe that ego is at the end. Because if you I believe if you reach a point that you're like, I'm the ultimate human being, it's like your ego is in control, and then you start to see other people as normies and insignificant. And I think that's the exact opposite of the goal.
Okay, so then hypothetically, you reach that point. Hypothetically, there's an end. That's not infinite.
Yeah.
What do you hope to feel, achieve, see, experience from that?
Sustain that level.
I'm actually hoping that, but if I actually reach that point, I would find happiness through peace.
Okay, so why is that your way of finding happiness and peace? Because there's a bunch of other ways. Why is that the one you chose for yourself?
Because I haven't
this is an
discovered another one.
intervention to Abdulaziz right now.
Are you okay? Do I need to call someone?
It's all good. That's the whole point of existence. Pain and suffering.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I agree, Abdulaziz. I agree. And we need to find our way towards peace. That way, unfortunately, it's not easy.
I feel like you guys, okay, I have a thought that might be mean, but don't take it, please. I'm sorry if it's
No, we take everything.
You take everything personally?
Okay.
No, not personally. I mean...
Wait, I will forget my thought. Wait.
Okay.
It's like a sneeze. If you don't get it out at that second, you'll disappear. Wait. Okay, so you guys say that you want to chase peace. You want peace, صح? You want peace and happiness. That is the goal of life. That's the goal of existing. At the same time, you give yourself an unrealistic... They're both
Actually,
like,
no. I mean, we didn't say that precisely.
What did you just say? I forgot what you said.
I didn't say anything, actually. It's Abdulaziz.
I guess
I don't believe my head in acceptance.
You guys, Abdulaziz said something, and then Maher said something, and then I had a thought, and then I forgot.
Okay.
Abdulaziz said something about pain or something.
At the moment.
Okay, go back.
Okay, so what I was saying was, you mentioned that happiness and peace is the end goal, which is not, because I don't believe. I mean, what is the end goal? To be honest, I don't know. And it's just that happiness and peace are very optimal conditions of living. And they make living much more easier to bear with, I guess. And
can I say something?
What's up?
I think of life as it's something really vague, something bizarre, because your goals right at this moment, there will be 100%, or maybe let's say 99.999% different than your goals 10 years from now. Think of this as an example. When we were children, if we're thinking about our dream jobs, most of them, they were unrealistic. I wanted to be a superhero. That's a goal. I believe that I will have superpowers in the future, because my favorite superhero is Batman. I want to be like him. But at this moment, whenever I think about my goals years back, I think of myself, why did I think of such a thing at that moment? I mean, I don't know. Was I ignorant, dumb at some point? But when time moves on, I think of myself like, okay, we evolve. We become mature in some ways, because I'm still a child at this moment.
Okay, but do you become mature, or do you just adapt to your society and what you're expected?
For me, neither.
If you wait, lahla. If you take this child that wants to be Batman and you put him in a vacuum where there's no societal expectations, there's no jobs, there's no concept of money, there's no concept of lying, nothing.
Yeah.
Would he still want to be Batman, or would he want to be mature, as you say?
For me, I still want to be Batman.
Me too. I want to be a witch.
Yeah. I want to be a witch.
When I was a kid. Yeah, I want to be a witch as a kid. I still want to be a witch.
One
I think
thing,
I was
I
the
am
only
from
one who
Bahla.
was a realistic child.
I want to be happy.
So,
I mean,
just one thing, okay? You know, when someone is young, they need somebody who is better than them so that they can copy from. So let's say
yeah,
Mahir wanted to be a Batman so that he could, I don't know if you wanted to help people or you wanted to
help,
be an orphan at a young
because
age.
it was badass Batman, Bruce Wayne.
Okay, and so the more you grow, the more you become more of yourself, and then you are the one who chooses who you want to be. Okay, I want to be somebody says I want to be a hacker, somebody says I want to be someone else, and then
Yeah,
they keep striving for something which is real. For the case of Lujainah, she wanted to become a witch so that she can actually torture people, maybe, or maybe, or she could do something.
I just wanted
she
to
could
fly.
do some things or tricks easily to impress the people. Then, because she had watched a lot of movies regarding witches, probably. But then, as she grew, she kept understanding that okay, this is too much of a goal to strive for. So let me look for something which is within my capabilities, and then that's where everyone starts becoming themselves, and they start deciding who they want to be, what type of life they want to live.
Yeah.
And
that's why
one thing about projecting into the future, I think I usually talked about this a lot. That Mahir, you talked something about your goals for the next 10 years. But if I tell you that your goals in the next 2 years will become very different from the goals that I
agree 100%.
Striving for right now, I'll be 90% right, because 10 years is very much of a time.
Actually, that was an estimation. 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. So if I would talk about who I want to be in the next 2 to 3 years, so the closer time from now that I can set my goals, the more realistic they can get, because you still have that path this way.
Yeah.
But then the moment you start going 5 years and 10 years beyond, then a lot of things change. It might be family, it might be politics, it might be technology. So yeah, that is what Abdulaziz said, you cannot control it now.
Yeah.
I'm honestly lost. There was something I wanted to ask. It was about something about energies and soul and manifestation and the law of attraction, to be precise. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
For me, I have no idea about
Can you please repeat? I didn't hear you very well.
What do you guys think of the law of attraction and manifestation?
Okay, first, can someone please explain the law of attraction to me? Because I don't think I understand it quite well.
We have the specialist herself.
Lujainah?
Can you please explain it to us?
You put her on the spot.
Is the most knowledgeable.
Okay, let me tell you my idea of this. So, Rani, you said, can somebody explain the law of attraction? I have actually never looked it up and I never read about it. And the reason is I don't want to have somebody else's thoughts and opinions coinciding with my own thoughts and opinions. So I try to figure it out by myself as I go. Okay, so from what I understand and from what I've experienced within my life, when you want to attract something in your physical life, in your physical being right now, because we're physical beings, physical bodies in a physical world, cliche, materialistic, we think we can touch it. You say you want a car, right? Or say, for example, something is easier than that. Say you want, a car. Why not a car? Say you want to be a car owner and you want to have, you want to own a car. The way that you're gonna get that car is that you say to yourself, I want to have this car, but also you act as if you're a person that already has the car, instead of worrying how you're going to get it, when you're going to get it, where you're going to get it, all of that stuff. Okay? I know that doesn't make sense, and then you're all going to be like, no, you have to collect money, save, go out, go get it, get a license, all of that stuff. It's, in a way, it's the same thing, but also it's not, because one is more metaphysical and one is just physical. It's all intertwining. The basic thought process, the basic idea here is, we're not made of material. As a consciousness, as a brain, we don't know where all of these thoughts come from. We don't know where we compute these things. So what we give ourselves, what we do believe, is that it comes from a soul, right? So far, do you guys kind of agree with that? Ahead. At some point, you've heard with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. As souls, before we were born, before we came and we chose Earth to come to Earth, we were all connected one as the higher organism. Like we talked in Sa'a, the universe, we think it's a higher breathing organism. We came from that. So in a way, we were all connected, but we think of each other as separately. The same way as blood cells and tissues are all connected with each other. But when you look at them, each one, they look like they're all individual. They look at like, this one has nothing to do with this one. This blood cell has nothing to do with blood cell. This plasma has nothing to do. This nerve has nothing. But they're actually all connected together, and they all heavily rely on each other to stay alive and to keep us alive. So that's how we as individuals are with each other. We rely on each other. We have an importance together. We keep something higher alive. I think, I'm not sure, ma'af. I'm just, okay. Going off my own thoughts, my own crackhead thoughts. So when you do that, when you want to attract or when you want to manifest something, it's a type of belief. It's like you go off of that belief, and now I'm already I'm already connected to the car that I want. It already exists. Okay? I just need to wait for it to materialize in my life. Okay?
So
I understand what you're saying. It makes so much sense to me. And it's like, when you believe in something, you're attracting it. Like when you believe positive thoughts, you're attracting positive experiences.
Okay. Let me tell you an experience from my own life, and you guys I'm gonna sound like I'm crazy, so yeah,
we're all crazy.
Be prepared.
Aren't we all?
Okay, so 2 weeks ago, I went with my cousin to look at necklaces and everything, and I saw a necklace, and I was like, "Oh, that one is cute." I didn't say it out loud. I didn't think of it. Nothing. I didn't even tell anybody that I found it cute. 2 days ago, my friend, who does not even know the type of necklace that I saw, I didn't tell her anything. She gave me that necklace already by herself. And this happens to me more than once, especially with things that I say, oh, I want this thing, but I don't actively pursue to go and get it. Because if I go and pursue and get it, go out of my way to find it and feel anxious because I don't have it, I'm telling the universe, I don't have this thing, so don't give it to me. And I'm trying so hard to have it. But if I act like I already have it, or I don't even care about it, it's gonna come to me. Like, tell me you know.
Yeah, that makes so much sense.
Something similar happened to me, but I actually bought it myself. This thing.
Good.
I mean,
I didn't have money at that time.
Find this thing.
And then what happened? You got money because you worked
out of a sudden, everyone started giving me money. My sister, even the bank gave me money out of nowhere.
Actually, oh my
this
God,
amount of money has been credited. And then
on the first episode, you were saying that you want to get it.
Yeah, and it happened. And now I have it. And it's so difficult to get. So yeah.
You see, like my issue is, how do you act as if you have that thing that you want?
I
don't think I totally understand.
Okay, I tell you.
Stop thinking about it.
No. First thing you have to do is you have to have a good relationship with yourself. Okay? You have to look at yourself, your positive aspects, your negative aspects, the aspects that you're ashamed of, the things that you're embarrassed of. You look at it all the same thing and you accept them all. You don't need to like them. You don't need to hate them. Just accept that they're there. Okay? You have to really have a good relationship with yourself. And then you have to go out in nature and hug a tree or like a rock or like the ocean, drown or something. I don't know.
Am I that lonely?
But I think that that's what makes you more okay. Not you, me. Everybody needs to be.
I'm joking.
No, I didn't hear what you said. I'm saying it's not you, Aziz. Yani, I think that doing this makes me closer to what I intended to come to Earth for. And I cannot explain to you by 1, 2, 3 like an engineer and be like, do this, do that, because it's really difficult to explain. You have to just you kind of just know. I don't know how, but you just do. It's like you're asking me to explain to you the feeling, explain to you how feeling feels. I don't know how to put that into words, but
how feeling feels. Wow,
yeah.
But
can you explain how feeling feels? I can't.
Yeah,
me either.
Feelings feels.
Yeah, feeling feels. Yeah, you feel it. It's the same. It's the same thing. I can tell you this feels hot. This feels cold. This feels pressure. But the
how does hot
feeling. How does that feel? I don't know how to explain it. It just you feel it. It's the same way with a lot of these things. You just cannot intellectualize it. You just know somehow.
So, like when it comes to that point, do you think that one should pursue happiness actively?
Do you want to pursue happiness? Do you think you should pursue happiness for yourself? Because I can't give you an answer for yourself. You can give yourself an answer for yourself.
I can give an answer, but it's
I
not
think
like
we all have different answers.
Yeah, but I don't
That's
think
what
it's
we're here
like
to hear.
a main answer. I mean, happiness is actually a small part of something bigger. I used to be that guy who believes that the whole purpose of life is to be happy, but the more years, the more I forgot the word that can describe what I'm trying to say. Let's say the more I moved on, just to keep it simple, I started to realize that this world actually have more than what I used to imagine. The whole life as itself, it's so different than how we imagine it. We think we know stuff, but we actually don't know anything, or we just know 0.001% of what this world actually shows to us. Did you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I mean, happiness is an internal feeling, so I'm not sure how people pursue it, you know?
Actually, you can pursue happiness, but not in a direct way. Not in it won't.
Yeah.
It won't last.
Actually, my stand about happiness still stays the same. So you don't.
I think we talked about it on the last episode.
Yeah,
I remember it's bad. I don't remember what I said.
Yeah, actually, it's not like it's a goal or something. Happiness will come regardless.
So you must have a purpose in life.
I agree.
And then if happiness comes, then just go along with it. If it leaves you, then keep pursuing your
goals. Either you're happy, sad, angry, disappointed, depressed.
It's all an experience. It's all an experience of being alive.
And feelings evolve. Like one day you're happy, one day you're sad. You can't just always be happy or always be sad, you know?
That's the beauty of life.
Right?
So, like, what I was trying to ask was, like, since we're talking about manifestation and the laws of attraction, and it's like, you think of something, I don't remember the exact words, I don't think I totally understood it either. It's just like you think of what you want, or you don't think of it, whatever it is, and you get it because you want it, or, to be honest, I didn't understand that much, but it's like, if you believe in the laws of attraction, does that mean that you do not believe that you should pursue what you want?
No, it's being detached from the outcome. It's being, if you get the thing that you want, you will be okay. But if you don't get it, you will also still be okay. Yani, you don't spend your time worrying and forcing and thinking that something bad's going to happen to you if you don't get the thing that you want. That's what makes it come to you easier.
Yep. Yeah. I agree.
So in a general terms, does it make sense to pursue what we want, or should we just actively, or should we just like wait for the
Don't wait. Don't wait for anything.
Like the waiting part makes no sense.
You can pursue it, but don't make it something bigger. I mean, if you have other goals that are, let's say, I don't like this term to say that this goal is much more important than that goal, because it depends. It's objective somehow. Okay, so if I strive for a goal, I want to achieve this goal. That doesn't mean that I don't need to achieve that goal at the same time. They can all happen at the same time. So the thing is, don't overthink it in order to achieve that goal. Just do what you want, and if you get it, it will come. If you don't get it, then it will come at another time. Your goals
if it doesn't come, it's still okay.
Yes,
still okay.
Rehman, I see that's a point.
I'd like to think about it in this way. So, because I don't like to say that you should be pursuing what you want, because at some point you might not know what you want, or you might never know if what you want is actually better for you. But at some point, if you have a purpose or if you have meaning in life, then I guess that works way better for you, because at least you know you're trying to do something, and actually that's better than what you need or what you want at some point.
I have a question. Are you guys scared to die?
What?
I'm not scared to die
afraid.
Because it will happen either way. But
afraid.
The thing is, I'm not ready to die. That's the difference.
Thing is, how do
you know you're not ready?
That's the thing. You never know. But I feel like I'm not ready to die. I feel like I have a lot more to give and to do.
So in your life, if tomorrow you look back at your life and you say, yes, I lived it the way that I wanted to live it so far, would that be a true statement?
Nope.
Hell,
that's for me. For me, no.
Yes, I can say I'm trying to get there.
But
I think my whole perception about death changed, and I think I'm no longer afraid of death. So
yeah, I mean,
what changed your perception?
So if it comes, then let it just come, and I think my time in this world is done. So time to turn off the switch.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, if it comes, then okay. But the question is, am I ready for it? No, I don't think, and I don't think anyone is.
That's the point. That's the thing exactly. We should always be ready, as if it's coming soon. You know.
Yeah, that's the thing. But as Lujainah said, how would you know?
Sulaiman, what's the thing that changed your perspective? What was your perspective before? What changed it?
About death?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I wasn't ready about it before. Then, around this year, some catastrophe hit family, and I also became ready. So I think that was like a preparation on my case too. So, yeah.
It just happens.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
And when it happens, then you become some sort of enlightened
aware
about the whole issue, and you just start preparing about the afterlife.
Because
the thing is, believe in the afterlife, or it's just a relativistic term. But there's one quote I like to think about. I don't know where it's from, but there's this guy who says it's better to believe in God while you're still alive, so that when you die and when you find there's God, then you're safe. But if there isn't any gods, like if you believe, it's better to believe in the whole issue of God, so that when you die and you believe in God and you find God there, then you're good to go. But if you don't believe in God, and then you come to find God after you die, then I guess you're in trouble.
It's too late.
You cannot change anything.
But if you believe in God, so that in the afterlife you're not punished, or so for you to have your own, your own kind of selfish agenda, wouldn't that interfere with your belief and your relationship with God? Because I think a relationship with God built on love is a much better take than built on fear. And like, say you do all of these good deeds so that in the afterlife you get into heaven. Did you really do those good deeds because you're a good person, or because you wanted something in exchange for that?
That's actually what I've come to learn, is that whenever we do something, we do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like, I'm doing this for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the sake of Him. Even like when we say, I love someone, I love you for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know? We do everything for His sake. So that in the end, because He's the one who cares for us, and He's the one who loves us the most. So we have to make sure our relationship with Him is built on love, and that we're not like, we're ready and not scared to go back to Him when the time comes.
I think I can answer.
And for the case, if you say that you're afraid of Allah and you're doing all the good things because you're afraid of Him, I guess you are very correct in doing the right path about it. Or what will be think?
I mean, I can answer your question in this, using this example. Just look at your parents, for example. Your mother, she cared for you, she raised you when you were a child, she gave you everything that you needed, and now you are grown up. So internally, she will expect you that you will respect her, give her what she needs when she's older, as she's old. So it's not like she wants you to give in return like what she did before when you were a child. She does. It's not like she wants anything from you. Yeah, you can never do that. That's the thing. Similar with God, He will give you everything, and He's still giving us. Even if you do something bad, He will still give you, and He will still forgive. But the thing is, I don't know how to connect it, but
I understand.
I cannot get your point.
I think
Did
I
you get the
understand what you're
point?
saying. Yes, but still,
so
there's an attachment. It goes back to when we were talking about detachment to the outcome, detachment to an expectation. There's an attachment. If, for example, my mother who took care of me and expects me to take care of her, she has an attachment. So she took care of me because she loves me, but she also took care of me because she expected something in return.
It doesn't work like that.
I'm working with your example. I'm thinking about your example. So is that still, how do I don't know.
Let's say she would hope that you will do the same to her.
She still has, that's still an expectation. It's still an attachment. So for example, if I have kids, okay, I would want to love them and care for them, but be detached of them still. So if they want to care for me and love me in return, they do it, but not because I expected them or wanted it. But and if they don't, and it doesn't take away my love for them, because I still chose to have these kids. I still chose. Aslan, the kids that I'm gonna have are not gonna be my kids. They chose me as a mom. They chose me as a vessel to come into this world. So for me to expect them to do something for me is a bit strange, in my opinion, because aslan humma, they're not mine. If you know what I mean, they come fully formed, understanding that they have a purpose on this world. They have a message in this world, and they chose me to come into this world.
Yep, a purpose, and that answers
that's actually
the thing is, you're answering your own statement when you said you don't have
what
purpose.
My dad.
I'm not saying my statement either. I'm just wondering. I'm just asking questions.
That's the thing.
He says that like he had kids and he raised us because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them to, you know? So he's doing all of this for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not because he expects something in return. Understand?
And that's That's really it helps in living. I mean, for example, if you give a lot, don't expect the other party will give it back to you.
Exactly.
Just live with it.
Don't expect everyone is just like you.
Yeah.
If you're gonna give a lot, you give it because you know and
You
you
want-
accept that
Yeah.
you might not get
And
it.
also
Because that's
you
who
want
you
to.
are.
You want to, yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's why I'm
Because
always
you
the
expect
giver.
something. Mhm.
If I don't give
Wow.
something physical, I give love to the world.
Yes.
Well, as
exactly.
it
I
would
give
be
hope
so-
to the world.
Okay, so then you manifest better when you give love to the world. خلاص, you have
Yes.
the keys.
Mhm.
You got this figured out.
Yep. That's the thing. And that's why I'm the hope. So
Okay, so are we done for today?
yeah, just can I add one last thing? It's related to history a little bit. So yeah, my iPad is ready. So I wrote this down when we were talking about the afterlife. So I believe that the ideas, the thoughts of afterlife at this moment will change the next generation. Let's say a century later, or not even a century, because if we go back in time, like what was the oldest empire that you know? The Egyptian, right? Or the non-older empire? Yeah, let's say they're
Empire? Yeah,
one of the
Egyptian.
What
oldest.
about-
Yeah. So
what
their
about
own
the
belief that
Aztecs?
their own beliefs of afterlife is like when it comes to the pyramids, what did they build them for? They built them for the pharaohs, right? Because they believed that one time
When they die.
like when they die, they would return. That's why they were buried in their own coffin with gold, food,
With all of their
because-
stuff.
Yeah, because they believe that one day they will be reincarnated and they will be back and they will eat from the food that's were there, etc., etc.
They
If you
buried them
go-
with food also?
Yeah, they were everything.
Yeah,
If
actually,
you go
there's
inside the
honey
pyramid,
which
they
was
were-
extracted from the pyramids, and it's more than 1,000 years old.
yeah.
Mhm.
And if you
So
go,
they did all of that for the pharaohs.
if you forward time to, let's say, the Norse mythology, the Vikings, if you know, yeah, of course you know them. The warriors that they believed in two things: Valhalla and Helheim. Helheim is their hell, Valhalla is their own heaven. It wasn't like heaven for normal Norsemen, no. It was only for the warriors. That's why their purpose in life was to fight for Odin, their god. So when you die in battle, let's say, you will feast with Odin in Valhalla, and if you die as a traitor, you'll go to Helheim, the land of the dead. Okay, that's their own thinking of afterlife. Let's go forward in time to the Greek mythology. You know, the Greek Zeus, etc., etc. They believe that when you die, souls will go on a journey to the land of dead, which was Hades. And Thanatos, who was the god of the dead, he will cut, let's say, a chunk of your hair, like until you go bald with no hair. And the amount of hair that he will cut, it will resemble the deeds that you did, like your purpose in life. And if you go back, if you forward time to our, let's say, the Islamic time, we have our own thoughts of the afterlife. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like the thoughts of afterlife changes in time. Yes,
Yeah.
because
of course.
no.
Okay, continue.
Now I was gonna say that the thoughts of afterlife change with time. I think it's because it's an unknown thing, and we don't like the unknown. We don't like
100%.
to not have control. So we try to make
Yeah.
sense of it as much as possible.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why
You know,
even
so
what we
far
say
the
now,
farthest thing that we can project into the future is death. Like that is the only ultimate threat that we know is lurking into the future. Then in that transition from death to the afterlife, that is the biggest mystery, and we still don't understand it now until that's when you rely on religion and metaphysics
Yeah.
to explain all
I mean,
that
I've been-
stuff.
Well, why do
Okay,
we feel the need to explain it? Why? Why are
Actually,
we so
Because people
afraid?
fear the unknown, right?
Yeah,
no,
but
I've
okay.
actually been. Yeah,
What-
go on.
Go on, yeah. No, go.
I've actually been learning a lot about the afterlife, but in the religious way, and it makes me feel very comfortable. Like it makes me knowledgeable as to like why we're here. You understand? Why we're here and what we're supposed to do to like ensure a better afterlife for ourselves. You know?
Yeah, that's, as humans, we always look for answers, even if you don't want to. You will always look for answers.
Yeah, like that's the thing. We try to learn about the afterlife, but don't go too deep into it, because that's that's haram.
Don't be preoccupied with this thought.
Yeah, and actually I've learned something, that how shaitan, how like he gets in your head. Sometimes like you'd go out and you'd be like, oh, the nature looks so beautiful. You'd say, mashallah. And then you'd be like, oh, who made the nature? You say, God made the nature. Like you're thinking all of this in your brain. You're saying, oh, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the nature, mashallah. And then shaitan, how he's trying to ruin this for you. He'd be like, okay, and who made God? You know?
Yeah.
That's when you say like, astaghfirullah, and like stop thinking about it. You're thinking too deep into it.
Yeah, you know, when you start asking such type of questions like, okay, who made God? And, what was there before God? And then I guess that's when you're defying the actual rules of religion, because in religion you actually talk about believing what you cannot see, right? Superior being that is there, which is Allah in our case. So the moment you start asking like, okay, who made God and all of that, then I guess that's when you start defying religion. And then
that's the point where you need to stop thinking about it.
Yeah, he's trying to make you question your faith.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, the thing is, even like I got to believe.
You know, it's very nice to be asking. Oh, Abdulaziz, keep talking.
I'm used to being okay. So it's just like I got to a point, because sometimes I think, if I wasn't born Muslim, what would I be doing? But then, like, after thinking of it for a while, I thought that, like, the good thing about religion is I believe it's what completes everything. Like, it gives you the answers that science and logic and whatever cannot
it's the
give
anchor.
you.
Yes.
Yeah, and it gives you, like, lots of peace. And you get to face that. For example, when it comes to death. For example, let's say heart attacks and all. I don't know what's the extent of science and whatnot. But then, for example, let's say you believe in the universe and that kind of stuff. You start thinking to yourself, like, hey, if someone dies, what happens? What do I do? Why did that happen to me? What do I do with this feeling that someone that I love has passed away or something like that? But then there comes religion, where it's like you have these certain beliefs that, like, if we think of it, other than Islam, for example, atheists, I don't know what they believe. I think they just believe that after you die, nothing happens or something. Well, that's not, I wouldn't call it a comforting thought. When it comes to Islam, though, you have, like, for example, your loved one died and you know they did this and that, but we believe that you can still help them in their afterlife, like in their grave, for example, giving sadaqah and that kind of stuff. So it kind of gives you some kind of answers for the unknown that we cannot comprehend or like understand or even research, however scientifically powered we can get. And at the end, like, I think it's what kind of completes everything. Even when it comes to philosophy, you start having different thoughts about existence, about everything. Even if you don't reach an answer in terms of, like, without, like, talking about religion, if you don't find an answer, it's pretty damn terrifying, I believe. But then you have religion where it has some kind of backbone that you can put your hand on and just
refer to.
Vibe.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's all about vibes. What do you think about vibes? How are today's vibes?
Yeah.
We've been talking about death and suddenly everyone's too silent. Come on, what is the vibes, man?
Vibes of what?
Indicate that we want to rain.
I mean, I can't see anything because, I shut my curtains, so.
Curtains closed,
I mean, yeah, curtains closed.
I don't know. I think worrying about dying is not for me.
I mean, you shouldn't worry about something that will happen to you. It will happen.
Yeah.
You cannot escape it.
Yeah.
Like it's happening regardless. You shouldn't be worried.
So people who say that, I'm afraid to die. Why? It will happen to you either way. It will happen to you. And when it comes, it will happen instantly. It's not like it will say, hey, you will die right now, okay? Just, it won't give you any second option. When you die, you will die. The question is, as I said, are you ready to die? And when we answered saying that we don't know, but we can somehow feel it, but we should always be ready, as Rani said. So,
or at least do our best to prepare for it.
yep, that's why I said I'm not ready, because I think like there's some things that I need to do.
That when you said we could feel it, I mean, if you're a good person, like if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like he decides that you're a good person, he would give you like a hint that you're about to die soon.
Yeah.
Okay, you understand? Yeah.
Yeah. That's the beauty of this religion.
Yeah. Okay. So are we done? Would you guys like to cover anything else?
No, that's that.
I was actually waiting for a questionnaire for you little.
Yeah, I think that's it for today. It's been really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And we went into a, let's say, an adventurous journey into the head of Lujainah.
Oh
no, like an interrogation.
Yeah, I mean,
interrogation.
She was asking real questions here. Like,
I hope I made sense. I really enjoyed talking to you guys. It was fun.
Yeah, same goes to us.
We really enjoyed having you so much.
And it's an honor.
Thank you.
You were our first guest, so that's really good.
Yes. We're so glad to have you as our first guest. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're asking
for
the real
inviting
questions,
me.
by the way, so actually that's a very nice thing which made this conversation way more better.
Bonus point for you.
Thank you. Thank you. I
would love
how
to have you back
always
again.
I would love to join again. I love that. Thank you.
Best believe that's gonna happen.
Inshallah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you all so much for today's conversation. I had a lot of fun. Thank you, Lujainah.